everybody, and welcome back to Bourbon Over Baseball with your hosts Bob and co-host Jeff and Matt. Say hello, everybody.
Yo, yo.
We are breaking down again and doing the next one that was requested on our list. Let's see if you guys can guess it from this theme song, because I don't know if you're going to be able to. No? It's because it really isn't like a theme song.
I feel like I'm going on like a ship voyage.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it sounds like a Disney song.
Yeah,
Like,
it's more like an animated. It's like an intro again in their '98 theme, quote unquote. But it is the Arizona Diamondbacks, which had a monster of a team. Actually, a really fun team to play. Handful of foils. Some guys that probably could have gotten foil treatment and didn't. Some really good value cards too. So we'll break all those down.
Yeah, let's do it. One of my favorite teams growing. I was telling the boys before we got on that I will remember that I was into Showdown in 2001, buying the cards, a lot of the cards that I already have, and I remember watching the Diamondbacks win the World Series that year. So kind of a lot of similarities between my Showdown fandom and just being a baseball fan in general. So yeah, this team is great.
And this one also has the super sweet purple look to them,
it's
just
great.
Talking about different colors. I love the old school Diamondbacks throwback jerseys when they do it now. The purple, I have a Rainey Johnson purple throwback. Well, it's from this era, but this looks so sharp.
Oh, they should just go back. We've talked about colors. I don't need to beat that horse there. And I guess with their new colors, at least having black, it's a little different. Like more
I like
the white
colors now because they use a lot of gray in it too.
Yeah, it has that faded gray. It almost reminds me of like a college football jersey or something.
Right, yeah. That's true.
But they do every once in a while do the throwback, which is then it's extra fucking sweet because we did that.
Goldschmidt.
Yeah, right? Goldschmidt throwback, which is super sharp.
I pretty much drafted him because of that card. So.
I'd love to see him incorporate the teal at some point.
Oh, I want all of it. Yeah, I want
more
all
colors.
But for reference, the 2000 base set Arizona Diamondbacks were pretty good in terms of the rest of the points and salary of the rest of the cards. So the average is 41.63. They are 48.60. They are the fifth highest. So the Braves are 5,300 and the Diamondbacks are 48.60. So pretty damn good team in general.
Yeah. So first up, we have Jay Bell, who got the foil treatment. Pretty solid card here, getting a 9 on base. It sucks a 1 through 5 out. Pretty good double range here. Got a little pop, some triple range. A little below average on the fielding, but a 9's great. 410, probably a tad high. He doesn't really get drafted a lot. I don't really draft him.
No, it's funny. I look at this. Well, one, I think I have to note this. Those glasses just make him look like such a total nerd, and I love it. I love it so much. He doesn't look particularly. It's not like it's not flattering. It just looks like
he's also doing sabermetrics in the dugout.
Right, exactly. He was studying for some final, and then they're like, "Shit, no, you need to go in, Jay," and he did. So
that's like Maddox. Greg Maddox used to wear glasses all the time. Just not when
it's the same thing. Yeah. Right, that's like that. That's commercial. I think that's Gatorade. It's Nike. It's one of them where whoever player is signing all these autographs and all the girls are going after him, and then Maddox and Cone I think are just we need to be like that.
Yeah,
Jay Bell is in that crew.
It's the McGuire one where they're jacking home runs.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
there's so many things we could really deconstruct that, so we won't go there.
But yeah, so Jay Bell average at best. I think he's a little pricey. I don't see him getting drafted much, and I don't think he is drafted much. Next up, Andy Benz. Pretty solid card here. You're talking about that 1 through 16 out guys around 320, 330. This is about that. So you got 350 getting the four control here. I've played with this card before. He's not bad. He's very average, but you get the 4 control.
For 350, right? Yeah. It's not terrible. And it's funny. I was just looking at the team. He was paid just as much as Jay Bell that year. He's at $6 million, and Jay Bell was 6.1, which is pretty wide. He's fifth highest paid guy. So maybe could have expected a little more, but no, it's pretty cool. And whatever that patch is on his sleeve, I'm into it. So
The
Yeah, I was
crazy
just
part with like this
Googling
team,
it.
I think it's their inaugural patch.
That's what my guess it would be.
But like when you look at this team, like we haven't seen it yet, but he's like their fifth best starter in total.
Well, the one I
that's
like is I
crazy.
think the next one. And we were talking about if we did a just NL only, and I was joking if the guy we're going to be talking about is Omar Dahl, if he would get picked up because he's just pretty damn good. And I like him. But yeah, that is the 1998 inaugural season Diamondbacks patch.
Oh, I like it.
So it's pretty,
That we
it's pretty cool.
right
Looking.
we Diamondbacks. You said first season was '98, right?
Yeah.
How like I know that it's usually in terms of expansion teams, it usually goes one way or the other, where they're like given too much to like be good, like apparently via the Diamondbacks or a la the the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Or it's the other way where the expansion team is set up to fail, a la the Cleveland Browns. So,
Yeah.
so it's just crazy that they came in and 3 years later we're world champions.
Yeah, and obviously, like, this is what 1 year after, and they're like studs. I mean,
Right,
incredibly
1 year,
good,
dude.
And then they had the Tampa Bay Devil Rays is the opposite end of that. They also came in '98 with them, and they're like not even close to this team in terms. Well, they eventually became really good, but they weren't close to this team in the terms of what they were.
Right.
So anyway, next up we'll go with Omar Dahl, and so this one whenever I see a 500-point player, I'm like foil in my mind. But you're talking about a huge. This is Todd Ritchie is the guy I like to talk about. It's a 500-point player, 1 through 15 out, 7-inning pitcher. This is basically that for 5'10". If you're looking at a guy like this is what you're gonna have to pay for a 1 through 15 out, 7-inning guy. I don't really want to grab the 7-inning guy if I don't have to. Just depends on your bullpen help. But I've always thought Omar Dahl would be fun to play with, and he doesn't really ever get to see the play, and it'd be cool in NL draft because I'm pretty sure he'd be 100% drafted.
100%. No, I think like so. Looking at this is our mini season draft, which had 8 teams. Was 2000 and 2001, both base set pennant runs, so everybody was included. But I think it was interesting. Like, what was the last team we did? We just did the
Padres.
Padres, yeah. Padres only had like 1 guy picked. This team had 7 people picked, so it kind of shows how much of a powerhouse they were. And Omar Dahl, surprisingly, and Jay Bell were not 2 of those players, not one of the 7 players picked. So I'm surprised with Dahl. I'm 1,000% with you that he, in an NL only draft, or even maybe a 2000 only draft, if you went base set, like he's going to get picked up. Like I just like, I know that like that type of chart can get just crucified if you're rolling high, it just doesn't matter. But man, like 7 innings, control 5. So even if he gets knocked, a handful of runs, he could still go deep. So
yeah, I like the jersey here versus the.
I love his hat.
Yeah, that's that. They brought that back a little bit too with the rattlesnake.
Right. It's also crazy. Omar Dahl had I know WAR is art. People love it or hate it. And
what did he do that year?
Matt, do you want to go over his stats? His WAR was pretty high, actually.
Yeah, give me a second to pull it up.
Just for reference,
I just want to know: was he worth it? What did he?
Oh,
really,
he was worth it.
He did do a 5 basically control season.
Yeah, I mean, he was one of the top starters in that the rankings. He was in that.
And that's what I don't like. It's like he didn't get the foil. No one knows who he is, and especially in the showdown land because he doesn't get drafted a lot. So that's why I kind of like if we could do the NL only. It's like I kind of want this like story within our friends. Remember that Omar Dahl season where he like killed it for the Thanos snappers or whatever.
So he was a tier 3.
Okay.
He was just above Maddox if you combine ERA and WHIP. He was it was just above Maddox. So,
okay,
and they're
he was
both
a 5
5
also.
And then he's just below Jose Lima and Todd Ritchie.
Okay,
So
and Todd Ritchie
that...
got the same treatment. So that 1 through 15 out card.
And it's crazy in terms of that team, like Randy. Randy Johnson had the highest WAR on the team. Then it was Luis Gonzalez, and then Omar Dahl was number 3.
Yeah.
And it's funny because Luis and Omar were both value steals with their salary comparative to everybody else, like Jay Bell and Steve Finley and Matt Williams. Like these guys were just getting paid big bucks, and yeah, I mean this guy Omar just showed up for them that year, and it reflects in this card.
Yeah, I mean, I've loved it. I've always wanted to use it, and you just there's always it seems to be like a little bit better card that you can find or something.
Right.
Todd Ritchie for 10 less points is the one that I always joke about, but yeah. Next up, Steve Finley. This is your guy that you're going just straight power. Huge chart, 12 double. I mean, that's a gigantic chart.
Jeez.
OF plus 2, which is great. Solves your fielding issue. You can play him anywhere in the outfield. 7 is what hurts here, and the speed B, but obviously speed B is not bad. I think he's a great card. He can find a home. Usually he doesn't get drafted because he's a 7 for 350, but you can see why he's so expensive because the chart is so monstrous.
Right, he's hobby buy.
Yeah. He'd be a lot of fun when you get that chart.
Yeah, that'd be interesting too. Like, would a card like this find in a shorter draft or whatever in a
Oh yeah.
This would be an interesting pick to grab and just chart up against Kevin Millwoods and Randy Johnson's.
Right. Anything higher than a 10 roll is just pretty bad if you're the other team, which is just crazy. Yeah, we have very few of these type of cards in the set. What's become like famous.
And we like
for
to
us
talk in extra base hits, and I count single plus as an extra base hit because they're usually on second, hypothetically, if it's open, depending on your rules. And you're talking about 50% chance, like that is monstrous.
Right.
So good job, Steve Finley. Next up, Andy Fox. He doesn't see a lot of play. It's just a weird card. He's 190. It's kind of lackluster. It's shortstop plus 1 also just makes it feel like you just kind of lost out on a lot of defense if you're into that. I've also seen like 3 different Diamondback symbols so far. This one's got the swooping D symbol on top of his helmet. It's got a lot of symbols.
They tried everything.
Yeah. Which one's going to stick?
That original A logo though with the the rattles or the fangs, like it's just like it's quintessential 90s.
Yeah.
It is. But like to me that is like timeless 90s logo.
You like the sleeves have that like Arizona like Aztec like diamond triangle thing on the sleeve collar, which is kind of cool too. That's an interesting touch that a lot of teams I guess wouldn't have. Right. I'm gonna put something on the sleeve. That's pretty cool. Hanley Frias, I believe.
I'm Frias, right?
So he gets picked up because people love on-base 10s. And now you're talking about an on-base 10 for 290? It's pretty solid here. He's only 100 more points than Andy Fox. And you get 3 more on base, and you're getting the same shortstop plus 1. Sucks with 1 through 5 out here, and you're just basically expecting a walk or a single from this. But 10, really cheap 10? I mean,
I think he's the cheapest 10 I've ever seen.
He's
same.
Pretty ridiculously cheap. I mean, you're not getting much from this. You're not getting a double or a homer. You can sneak out a triple. You get the single plus, but man, 6 through 18 is basically what you're getting. But if you're a guy that likes on base and you're like, you know what, I stacked up a plus 5 on shortstop or second base and I don't really care, maybe he finds a spot. He doesn't usually get drafted because of the no homer, but you could see why he could get drafted for only being 290 points.
Yeah, I'm surprised. It'll be interesting to see. Man, I already can't wait for these NL AL specific drafts we're gonna do, just because all these players that we're thinking man, should have gotten drafted or should be drafted. Not this guy wasn't. Hanley wasn't drafted in our mini league. I guess I would. Right. I just feel like if this is going to be towards the end of the draft where I'm just trying to fill in spots, but I know there's a certain point where I'm definitely trying to find a 10, ideally to lead off potentially. I'd love it if he was speed A, but
here's a good question then, Matt. How many 10 shortstops are there in the NL?
I think he might be it.
Because I know Nomar, Jeter, Omar, Nomar, and Jeter are all in the AL.
Yeah.
I think I can search it really quick. Give me one.
Because I'm because the best shortstop's Larkin, so
and he's a 9,
and he's 360 points. So
and I like Larkin. Obviously, I would take Larkin hands down over this guy. But I'm just if you're I want to get in there 10, and there's only one 10 shortstop.
There can't be. There's no way, because if he's 290 and Larkin's 360, I don't remember it. Well, I guess there might be, but I don't remember.
So there's only 4. is Nomar, Nomar. Oh my gosh, Nomar Garciaparra, Omar Vizquel, Derek Jeter, and our boy
There
Hanley
you go.
Fries.
So if you did an NL only draft, only 10 shortstop is available to choose Hanley Fries. Pretty interesting.
That's yeah, and I almost want to see like just I wish I had a better way to sort it out by like the conference.
Mm-hmm.
But man, like I just it's just you just look for tens. That's just the thing that like I know that our whole crew does. And let me see. Like
I mean, it is intimidating when I look at a lineup and I'm like, especially if I bring in a 3 control or a 4 control guy and I just look and it's like, well, especially when we did 2001, it would be like 10, 11, 10, 10, 10. I'm like, holy shit, this is gonna be a rough day.
he is if you can believe this, he is tied with 3 other players for the lowest salary 10.
What's the other
really?
2?
I bet you can get one of them.
I know. Is it not our? It's one of our creations, right?
No, this is in the 2000 base set.
All right, well, let me take a think. Luis Castillo?
Nope. It's
No, he's a 9.
You gotta think of it. We talk about this guy pretty often.
It's not
Hitting
John
machine.
Olerud, is it?
It's John freaking Olerud, man.
Okay.
It's Mets John Olerud.
But he's got so that's the.
He's so good. Like his card.
But
his
he's
card
got the
there,
home run, right?
He does. He's a 20 home run, 18-19 double,
Yeah.
13 to 17 single,
For
like a
2
ton of walks.
So that's way more valuable in my opinion than this.
Right, and the other one, I don't know if we could get this one. That
a 10
yeah.
for 290.
Yep, he's a first baseman, third baseman, +0.
+0. Huh. He's got to be a guy that probably doesn't hit a home run or has a 20.
Comparatively, if you're okay with that shortstop +0 or +1, like I don't know, I'd pick Olerud.
Olerud for being a +1 first baseman is hands down better, and he has the home run power, which is what I would rather have. Though he's the C speed, which kind of.
So the third one is Dave Hansen on the Dodgers.
Oh,
I always forget about
that picture too. He looks so like lackluster playing third base. He's like doing warm up drills.
So it is kind of like, and then Chad Curtis is 10, but he gets left field, right field +2. He's
Chad Curtis is super underrated, and that card is very good. We talked about it in the Yankees podcast. I think that card's awesome.
Crazy for that +2 outfield.
Yes, and that's why I like it a lot.
So anyway, that's wild.
There's your trivia for you guys that are listening.
Yeah, that's a big trivia. But I think the crazy thing with Hanley Fries is like literally in '99 he had 180 plate appearances.
So they just based it on that. Or what did he do in '98, or did he even play?
He had 23 plate appearances.
Damn.
Lovely.
Was he around often or long in the league?
He was in the league for 4 years.
Got that 10 on base treatment.
And 99 was his
because
most
this is probably like
PAs.
his shining gem.
Right.
Yeah.
Next up, Bernard Gilkey. This card I always thought was pretty solid. Plus, he looks like a badass. I love pictures where he's like looks like he's about to just fucking tee off.
Yeah, he looks great.
But just
those Wilson. Yeah. Wilson hand things look great.
Yeah, he's a really solid 9 for 330. I hate the 1 through 5 out here, but he's all right. I probably have drafted this card just because I thought he was cool. Like he looked cool.
I remember I got him in my starter deck, and like I thought his last name was cool, so like I always used him.
I just think he looks like a badass. Like I think he looks like he's about to fucking kill this ball.
At least like the 3 to 5, 3 to 5 fly ball means that he was crushing balls. They were just getting caught on the warning track.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I feel like for a 9 for 330, you're not too bad. We talked about Steve Finley being 350 for a 7. Obviously, a ton of power. I just feel like he's pretty decent. Again, I'm probably having a little bias because I've played with him in the past and I always thought he was cool. That's probably why. Didn't he go to the Mets or something?
He was on the Mets in '96.
Okay, that's
he
why.
had a
I'm doing the
huge
96
card.
set. I'm like, why do I know this guy on the Mets?
He had a huge year in '96. That's why.
That's yeah. I was like, I just did this guy's card. I'm pretty sure he's like a 9 or a 10 then.
Yeah, because I remember when I was doing like the best of the '90s, his '96 season was the best of his career.
Oh, I picked a good season. Next up, Luis Gonzalez, the hero. This card's pretty fucking sweet.
Yeah, it's a great card.
It's a great card. He's killed it in leagues that I've seen him play in. You got the 10 +2 outfield, so you're solid on the outfield. Pretty good double range here with 3 doubles. You wish he was a little bit more powerful, because especially for how strong of a guy and powerful he was. I don't know how he did in '99, But
I think his power came like the year after.
yeah, I just remember being
the year they won the World
tank.
Series.
Yeah, he was like a beast. So it is cool to see the 10 here. Foil treatment done for him. 450 is pretty solid. He's gotten picked up, and I remember, what did he do in our league? Because I thought he killed it.
Yeah, he let me see, because he was drafted pretty early, I believe.
So he had 26 homers that year in '99. He had 57 in 2001.
He had 57 in 2001?
Yeah, the year they won the World Series.
Jeez Louise.
So Luis Gonzalez in our mini league did crazy good.
Yeah, I just remember him teeing off. Who did he play for? What team?
He played for Dusty.
Yeah,
he was one of his his first pick, maybe his fourth pick or so. But no question, he the best player on his team. 456 average, 500 on base, slugging was 375 or 735, and then his OPS was 1.235. Yeah. So it was a little frighteningly good.
I think he did off against me once or twice.
Yeah, he had 5 home runs, which is
in our league, short seasons too.
Right, exactly. 22 singles. That's awesome. He had so many damn hits.
Yeah, so I'm probably a little biased because I've seen him just do destruction, and I know what he did, obviously, in real life in 2001. But I think this card's awesome. Next up, the Cy Young winner himself, Randy Johnson. For some reason, they think, they thought back then Control 3 was like the best thing ever. So this guy literally, in every league I've played in, is like complete game shutout or like no hitter almost, and then the next game is out in like 4 or 5 innings because he gave up like 6 runs.
He did. So he got drafted pretty early on in our mini league by a guy who used to be notoriously known for only drafting great pitchers. So just for reference, this is our boy Matt the Cat.
Yep.
His 4 starting pitchers in this mini league were Pedro. I wonder which year. I've got to check. I think it's the 700 salary. So I think that is 01 Pedro.
Yeah,
okay.
It's 01.
It's 01 Pedro, 2000 Randy Johnson, probably 2000 Kevin Millwood, and one of the Mike Hampton cards, who I'm not even going to look it up.
Mike Hampton, I think, as well.
So, and Randy did 4 outings. He pitched 9 innings in 2 of them, 8 innings in the other 2. He was 2 wins, 1 loss. But no, he went crazy. Did pretty well. I mean, he only gave up 0 runs in 1, 3 in another, 2 in another, 4 in another. So nothing outrageous. Yeah. But yeah, it's just Control 3s. Like, we've all just come to the conclusion that spending that much money on a Control 3 is just. I know he's a tier 1 or tier 2, excuse me. Like, but it's just tough. It's just really tough. Like, it's Control 4. If I'm spending anywhere above 550 points, they've got to be Control 4 for me.
Yeah, and it just sucks because of the 8 IP. It's like he just stays at Control 3 for so long. Right. What's really nice here is the no doubles. So, I mean, literally, if you get the advantage, it is like game over. And if you get on base, the next guy is out. Like, I've seen him completely shut down teams. If he's facing a team that definitely spent money on batting, it's a little rough because he has to sort of go. Let's say they had a full lineup of 10s or like half a lineup of 10s. He's got to roll, 7 or 8 or higher for a good chunk of the lineup, and that's tough to do.
Yeah, and he was second of all the pitcher or all the starters that year. He was second in combined ERA and WHIP. It was Pedro and then him.
Wow, look at that.
And then right behind him was Kevin Millwood, the other 3 out through 18.
Yeah, and it's funny because we talked about like the 3 guys that finished 1, 2, 3 in the Cy Young race and the NL all got Control 3s.
Yeah.
So don't understand. Again, we don't really understand why right now, but we're hopefully one day we'll find out. But I think they thought Control 3 was like really, really good, but then they gave Pedro like the 5. So so it's like I don't get it.
Yeah, me neither. I don't get it. He could have probably been a Control 4, but whatever. Here we are.
Yeah. So what's cool is like when you see like Jacob deGrom be the Control 4 that we did, and how dominant he was. Like I think one more control here, even if it was like less innings or 1 less out, I think is so strong. It just the 3s kind of suck, but man, does Randy Johnson look intimidating as ever?
Man, he did. I mean, he did 12 complete games that year. That is so like
I get the IP8.
Right.
It just
Yeah, and-
stinks.
You know what's funny is like if somebody did like rechart them out, they would have put them at like a 4 control out through 17 that doesn't give up doubles.
Yeah, which is a
Oh.
monster.
You probably would have been more points,
Well,
honestly.
so what they did was what we assume is they thought whip was really good for control, and so what they did was they put him into, I'm sure, tiers, in some sort of tiers, and they said, okay, his whip is so low that he should have low control, which because he's gonna have so many outs. So we're gonna give him a ton of outs, which means his control has to be low because he's in that range for some reason. Instead of thinking that you could have gone lower in outs and up in control, and he actually be more dominant, and actually his whip would probably go down, in the showdown perspective. But I actually, speaking of range, I think the ones that you did, Matt, I think it was you or Peter did the Mariners.
The Mariners one, I love that one.
Those ones look fierce, and whenever I think of Randy Johnson, I think of him as a Mariner because of him facing the Indians. But I think he did better on the Diamondbacks.
Oh, he did. Him and Schilling were just like killing the league for like 3 years straight.
Yeah, it's wild that they were together. Oh my God.
Yeah, I just always remember him as I just remember him like pitching at Larry Walker in the All-Star game and just being this like ferocious, Mariner person that kills birds. But
is that the at bat where like Larry Walker walks up and does the opposite stance?
Yeah, so he puts
as a
Yeah,
joke?
because he brushed him back.
Yeah, he puts
Yeah,
the
that's
helmet
it.
on backwards and stands in the lone batter's box. So he throws it like 10 feet above his head. He walks over back to the other side, puts his helmet on the correct way.
Yeah, that's wild. That's great.
Yep.
I love it.
Next up, we have Travis Lee. So he actually gets drafted a lot in our leagues, I assume for his value, low outs, and his A speed, first baseman. Chart's okay. I don't think this card is amazing, but it's okay. But for some reason, he does really well in every league we've played in.
I want it because I know we asked the question a while back of how many speed A first basemen are there, and there's not many. There's 3, which
Young.
again, it's Kevin Young is one, and you can get the other one. He's a stud. Yeah, he's a total.
Oh, Bagwell.
It's Bagwell.
Woo-hoo!
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So that's that's nice. That's the 3 right there. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so maybe that's why the team, the person was like, I really want to just get a really fast guy and whatever. I just know he did well. I think he was drafted on Robert's team, the Funko Fanatics.
He wasn't. So maybe it was an earlier league, but
then it wasn't earlier. He killed it.
Yeah. So out of the 7 guys drafted in our mini league from this team that we're covering, Luis and Matt Williams were the only hitters drafted. The rest were pitchers or relievers.
Matt Williams has got a really fun card to break down too.
Yeah, he does. We'll hit that. But yeah, for 200, I don't think I've ever seen this card before, or at least paid attention to it. I think for a first baseman, like again, a deeper league, like I'm into it. His chart isn't horrible. Like I think that the walk is pretty kind of large, but 1 through 3 out, like I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I'm just not expecting a lot out of this.
Yeah, you're not, and maybe not. Yeah, you're just trying to get an A speed guy on base, hopefully.
Exactly.
Next up, Matt Manti. I've drafted this guy a lot. I think he's awesome. So now we got a closer that's sort of like Johnson with the 3 control, but this one doesn't do walks or singles or doubles.
That's a crazy card.
So I've had this card below saves for me, which really pissed me off and totally shut people down. It just depends on the part of the lineup you're facing. I just think it's awesome he had no singles, no doubles.
He had to walk tons of people.
Yeah.
Right. He did not.
I know he did.
Right.
I didn't draft him in our league, did I? I was the earlier one, I
he
think.
He didn't. He straight up didn't get drafted.
Yeah, I drafted. That's
crazy.
because he had a couple blown saves for me where I got like really scared of control 3s.
Right. So what's the closer bonus here then? Like, what would he be like reliever wise? Like, if there was a reliever for 130 with this chart or oh my god, like
Yeah,
that's a freaking steal. Like,
I don't think he's misrepresented here by 150.
no, me neither.
I just think that the idea is that he's a tier 4, which is kind of crappy, and that's what the drawback is.
Right.
So you would think that a tier 4 would be a little lower in points, but I think the no single don't double sort of raises him back up. But man, I'm telling you, it did hurt. Just you would like walk a guy, and then like you give the advantage to the next guy, and that is rough.
It's it, right?
So
You know what's so
I've learned my
interesting?
lesson.
that year he literally walked 44 batters and gave up 44 hits.
Yeah, so he had a nice
So
solid.
he walked a ton of people.
Yeah.
Wow. Right.
Well, it looks
What
like
would
in
you
this
say,
picture
like-
he like threw it to the side and he's like,
Kind of a great picture. It's like this is another one of those like timeless showdown pictures
Yeah.
to me.
I think
You know, it's just
I
like-
always liked it, and again, I thought it was cool to draft and play with. I just had bad experiences with them, and then you kind of shy away from a guy like that after that.
It's fun. It's funny. We can't really tell if it's spring training or not because they play in like the same place they probably do spring training. So like it's in Arizona. Like
Yeah, I don't
great.
know if they did back then in '98 because they used to play in
Yeah.
all different places.
That's true. Or they could have gone to Florida or something.
Yeah. Next up, the man, the myth, the legend, Dan Plisak. So we have is it his nephew that's on the Indians now?
I think
Yeah.
it's his nephew.
Okay,
his
so
nephew.
which is awesome because I think this card is one of the most valuable cards. You're talking about 60 less points than what we just talked about for Matt Manti, another tier 4 pitcher. But if you're looking to grab a guy that's a control 4 and slide him in for under 100 points, this is the guy that everyone goes for. Like
Yeah, he's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's crazy
He was
good
also
for
good,
that.
I think,
for
with
the
strategy
value.
cards because there was like those lefty bonuses that you'd get for relievers, and so this is
Yep.
like a lefty specialist kind of guy.
He got picked up early in our draft.
Oh,
I mean, literally in terms of this team, like, and I know there's a lot of picks in between, but what Randy Johnson, Luis Gonzalez, Dan Plesac.
Yeah.
So just wild that way. And I think I actually picked up his nephew on my 2019 team. So
There you go.
a lot of synergy going.
Pretty
in.
sure you did.
Yeah. I think he's good. Like I
Yeah.
kind of lost touch with that team because we drafted 3 months ago.
Yeah, I was trying to think about that the other day. I do not remember my team other than I took all pitching first.
Yeah, it's just that's your team. I
Well,
think.
hopefully we'll get back to it soon. We're trying to get a blind draft together. I have a date out just to hold space, but I don't know if we're getting a lot of traction on it right now. We might
Right.
change the date, but we really want to get our league back to going since COVID's sort of going back. We'll see if it's fully going away or not. We're trying to get back into real life here as we're still breaking down the showdown cards. But Dan Plesac is one of the better value picks when you talk about like Doug Brocail and everything. A lot of people, when they after they've grabbed the stud reliever, the John Johnsons, the Alan Embrys, etc., the Derek Lowe's, they go, okay, where am I going to save value but still be able to play the guy? And that's where you find Dan Plesac.
Right, he's great.
Next up, Kelly Stinnett.
Mm-hmm.
Just not a lot here other than a monster chart.
Right.
He looks like he snuck onto the field in somebody's uniform that shouldn't be there.
Honestly, not joking. He looks like Bruce Willis. He looks like a diehard. He looks like Bruce Willis and Die Hard just decided to like be a catcher for the Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
Like his face looks like I shouldn't be out here.
Yeah.
Right. He goes, I'm not like my +6 arm is actually not true.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty not telling.
Yeah, you're obviously not expecting a lot from this, and well, I guess if you got the advantage, you would be like awesome. I mean, what did he do that year, Matt?
Let's see.
Because I mean, for a 15 home run share, I know he's a 6, but we're talking about he should be having a lot of home runs, like 30 home runs.
He had 317 plate appearances and
Half a season.
hit a home run in 14. Like I don't get it.
Yeah,
he had
14.
So they
I-
project him at 28 home runs. I just feel like a 15 homer at 6 should be like a 30 home run guy, but maybe they're rounding up.
Yeah, maybe it's just based on like a lower, like half as many plate appearances as like most of the other starting guys. Like and he was the backup.
It feels
looks
generous.
Right, exactly.
Next up, Greg Swindell. This is my boy that I always talk about. I love drafting Greg Swindell. I like a control 3 that's 1 through 17 out. So this is your tier 3. No doubles for 140. So would I rather have him or Matt Manti for 10 less points? I'd rather have Greg Swindell.
Yeah, that's. Oh, I might pick Manti. That's crazy.
This is a tier above Manti with no doubles.
That's true, and he's less money. That's true.
He's stud.
Closer,
I mean,
Yeah, it's that closer bonus.
There it is. Yeah, he should have been 140 or 130.
Yeah. So I always talk about if I'm looking at a 3 control 1 through 17 out guy, he's got to be like Greg Swindell in my opinion. That's where I find value. No doubles is a guy that I'm always looking at. I always think he's extremely good for 140. Again, 140 relative because for like 190 I can get like the best relievers there are. But when if those guys are gone, I don't mind grabbing this kind of guy to pick up to face the lower half of the lineups and just shut them down.
Man, I kind of coming back to this. Like, I know those jerseys, like the teal jerseys. Like, I don't think I ever knew about those jerseys until really kind of being hyper focused on these cards. Like, it is kind of a little surprising that like they even used purple as the background for these cards, because it's like the purple doesn't show up that often.
No.
No,
Like,
but I love that sleeve. Like that sleeve collar is so cool.
Looks really cool. So how does it that like both expansion teams in '98 both ended up with like pretty much an extension of teal? Like, is that just '90s? Can't help itself.
Yeah, I wonder. They were like, okay, we're gonna make you bold. We're gonna make you stand out.
Yeah, you're both gonna be teal.
Yeah, you're gonna make this teal, and then we're just gonna take you a shade this way and a shade that way.
Fairly again, the '90s. Just where logos went to die. I live and die. I don't know.
What was that post? It was like the '90s NBA jerseys the other day, and they look fucking sick.
Oh, there's they're the best. Yeah. I mean those are legendary jerseys.
Yeah, those are the ones I like the most.
Getting into like the two, I'm not going to go into an NBA jersey rant, but like in the two, actually, yeah, Matt and I could do it. So, but the 2000s, like if you look at the 2000s era of jerseys, there's like honestly nothing notable. Like there's just like that's when like the jersey era died to me. Yeah. And like if you look at the 90s, like the Raptors 90s logo that's a legendary logo. And there's a podcast called I think it's called 99% Invisible that they did this is a while back, but they did they brought on the NBA hired a graphic designer, like a senior graphic designer in like the early 90s to basically oversee all of the teams kind of going through, logo and mascot and, in jersey renovations or redesigns in the 90s. So he oversaw the whole thing. And yeah, he basically just said it was just a wild time that like, awesome. He looks back and they got him on the podcast and he's just like, yeah, the things we kind of got the okay to do back then, like, I don't know how, and so anyway, it's highly recommend that if you like that stuff. Yeah.
Next up, Matt Williams. So this guy gets picked up all the time. We talked about Steve Finley being a 7 for 350. Now you got locking up the highest position on third base of the +3 here, and huge chart 1 through 3 out, no walks, big singles but big double range, a lot of home runs, and he's foiled. Obviously I always like the Indians, but he's a stud, absolute monster.
Would you pick him or Finley?
I think I would go Williams.
Yeah, I mean, for cheaper and more defense, like.
Well, but the other thing that Finley is nice is he's the OF. Like he can play center field. So I guess
that's true.
And if I'm just looking at both cards, I'd probably go Williams. But if I end up getting like a left fielder that was like underperforming, or like all the center fielders were gone, I could see Williams or Steve Finley being very valuable. But I know Matt Williams has been really good in our leagues, and it's the +3 third base is very nice to have. I don't mind either way. I think I don't know. It just depends, I guess, on your other infield. Like I feel like I can make up more maybe on the infield if like I didn't grab a third base +3. I don't know. I like Steve Finley a lot. I just think he gets looked over a lot because he's not the foil and he's not. I mean, Matt Williams is nice here because he's no walks and 1-3 out. That's pretty damn good.
Yeah. That OF +2, you're totally right. That's a huge thing.
Yeah, I just like that he could go in center field, and depending on the rules of your league, do you have bench players? Do you have like if you did an NL league where you have to do pinch hitters and people might move around? Yeah. That OF becomes very valuable.
Yeah, you may have convinced me.
I think I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
I was watching a KBO game the other day, and Matt Williams is a coach over there.
Is he really?
What?
Yeah, he's a coach of one of the teams.
Wow. Hey, they're playing baseball.
I saw one of those guys had a KBO jersey, and I like maybe want to go get one.
Dude, I saw a guy do a bat flip on a fly ball. It was my favorite.
That was amazing.
I love it. I want all of it.
I want to see their league.
Fucking everything. Just bat flip everything. Yeah. I don't care.
I guess
bat flip and ground ball.
Like bat flips are like a huge thing in their league, and it's supposed to just be like when the crowd's there, it's just so much fun.
Yep.
I really want to see what it's like when the crowd's there, because I've never seen it, obviously.
Dude, well, our players and our fans are just like you can't do that. Like I hate it.
You
I
can't
hate
do it.
I'm-
Our fans are gonna sit on their hands and on their phones and not make
Right.
There's
throughout
gonna be
the
no
game.
fans if this league doesn't ever come back.
No, it's
Yeah.
it's looking like it's NBA's about to come back,
Yep.
and the
Yeah.
MLB doesn't.
How's
seem
the
that
NBA
close.
come up with a thing before they do?
Yep.
Because it's because Adam Silver's a total genius, and I think honestly the rest of the sports world is kind of waiting to see what he does,
Well, I
so they
read
can
this.
adapt it.
Now that I have a athletic subscription, I was reading an article about don't drive over the cliff MLB, and just basically talking about how like there's no trust between the players union and the MLB, and like nobody believes either side has good interest for them at heart.
Absolutely.
So it's like they're just like trying to each get their own. Whereas like in the NBA, it's like it seems like they have a pretty good relationship with Adam Silver and the owners, to where like they make things happen. And
Right,
it is a player-run league, basically.
Yeah, and
Right,
here we are,
for
we're
sure.
the fans. We're gonna get hurt by it.
yeah.
Right. I think with less players, it
Peter
helps.
about it.
Yeah.
I was like, it's a good thing we have other projects in the works, because I don't think 2020, like even if they play 50 games, I don't want to make 2020 cards. Like
Yeah.
they didn't play. Like what did they earn?
It's a pennant run,
Yeah.
It's a pennant run season.
Yeah, if they
essentially.
didn't, if they
like-
just did that, I guess I would just like, if someone was like, "Oh, amazing," I would make that card.
Right, but it's like at that, like I don't know. My whole I love when guys the whole season you earn that card.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll give you more time for your 96 set
Yep.
and the other stuff that we got cooking up. But like, it's just like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only part that I'm with you about, the statistics are just going to be kind of flubbed for that year. Like it's just not going to look as real. The one aspect I do think will be fun if it is that short of a season, which who knows. I think like in baseball it's so tough because like with so many games it's hard to feel like any single game is that important until like the last month.
Oh, that part will be fun.
That part, so like changing it so that from like in day one, like if everybody had the same look on game one as they did on game 162, then then it'll be a totally different league. Like, but I think that you're gonna see, if they did truly a 50 game season, you would see the intensity on game one.
Yeah.
And I think it'll just be like, you're gonna see, they're not gonna be, it's kind of like in our league, like every single time we're doing a showdown game, I'm playing to win. I'm playing everybody as if I'm trying to win that game. Not saying that like you don't do that, but I think you have a different, in the real leagues, but I think you have a different vantage point with, resting people and stuff. And I think that's a little bit of that's going to be gone. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I agree. It's just more frustrating because I've just been so ready for baseball this year.
Oh,
Right.
for sure.
And,
Especially because your thing was like kicking off. The Discord's been bumping.
Yeah. And I was just excited, like last year, how you were putting out like, oh, at this point, this guy would be at this. Like,
Yeah.
You think of what Bellinger was at 50 games, like he's probably one of those crazy 11 OB, 15 home run guys.
Yep.
I love it. Give me the fucking anomalies with 50 games. Have some guy just have the most bonkers 50 game stretch, and
Well, that's
I
the
want.
weird thing. It's like you could also have the worst 50 game stretch. If you're like a second half player,
Dude.
like it takes you a while to get into a groove. You're gonna like look like you had the worst 2020 season.
Jose Ramirez's first 50 games last year.
Dude, yeah, he doesn't play until the second half.
All right, so next
Edwin
up we have
Encarnacion.
Tony Womack, which I've drafted because again he's got the +2 outfield, right field, speed A7. Doesn't get out much. That's all you're looking for here for 210. This is we just looked at Travis Lee being a 7 for 200, but this guy gives you the fielding.
Yeah, I really like this card, and I think I used.
Do you like it so much? Because we're going to talk about it again in a minute.
I know, and it annoys me because it's like I wish it was combined.
Yeah, for sure.
Like the pennant run, they could have just added both.
Yep. So next up we have Brian Anderson. This card actually does get picked up a lot. So we talked about a 1 through 15 out guy being 500 points if he's a 7-inning pitcher. When he's a 6-inning pitcher, definitely gets the discount. But this one kind of hurts because of the no walks. So
It's a bigger discount.
It's a bigger discount. So he actually does end up getting picked up a lot because of that. I'm hit or miss in this. I don't like the giant single range, but he's a 1 through 15 out. It's not too bad.
Yeah, I think this goes back to our conversation of in real baseball you don't want walks, but in Showdown you do.
Yeah.
Because that's same with Maddox. Like I don't want Maddox because of it.
Yeah, I've never played with Maddox or Cone other than when I first opened the starter set.
I totally agree. Like they're not actually that good at cards to me. Like
Next up, we have. Okay, here we go.
here we go.
Euribel Durazo.
You're close.
Is it? What is it?
It's a Rubial.
A Rubial Durazo?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he's a fucking stud.
Yeah, who like I'm gonna be completely like who like I have no clue who this guy is. Like I've seen this showdown card. I have no concept of who this guy is.
Minor leagues, baby.
Yeah.
Is that it?
He had 180 plate appearances as well.
So he did show up.
That's like
And,
a fourth of a season.
I mean, he had 11 home runs in those 180 plate
Yeah,
appearances.
so they thought
that's-
this guy was
that's
going to
pretty
be
cool.
a monster.
And then he wasn't. I'm assuming.
Well, I don't know what he did after that, Matt.
I think he was like a 9 OB in the
Yeah,
01
he
set.
played again.
I think he's in my 05 set.
He just
I
reminds
don't
me a lot
remember
of like the Ryan Klesko pennant run that we just looked at.
Yeah.
He wasn't around for very long. I mean, he was only in the league until 2005.
Oh,
So he
wow.
did play in 05?
So
He must have gotten hurt or some
He
shit
was-
because
what is he just working for MLB Showdown? Just wanted to play during the run?
yeah, like he had an in or something. But
Yeah.
he had a crazy good, but not a crazy good, but he had a great 2004 season. Like he got MVP votes. He was 23rd, but he got votes.
Was he with Arizona the whole time?
No, he was with Oakland for his last 3. So then he played 2004, did really well, and then he went from 578 plate appearances in 2004 to 167 in 2005, and then he was out of the league.
Wow. He must
So
have-
I don't
something must have-
know.
Well, if you guys are listening to the podcast, you guys will let us know, because what is crazy, I don't know if Jeff or Matt, if you checked, but since I sort of run the YouTube, I get the comment alerts a lot. Sometimes they don't show up, sometimes they do. The comments are weird. But our fans, I hope you guys are fans, the people that listen and deal with us, they know their shit, and they'll look it up and they'll tell us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially, sorry for the Andres Galarraga. I don't know if you saw that, Jeff, but
no.
I was talking about how, like, what the hell? Andres Galarraga didn't play the year before. That's why he got the pennant run, blah, blah. And then the guy wrote, he goes, yeah, he had cancer.
Oh right, I did see that. It's just like
I was like, fuck.
dude, out of all these players, like how are we supposed to keep up on that?
Yeah.
Like how are like we're doing our best here. You know what I mean?
And you were
I
like 10.
literally I had no idea who a Rubial Durazo was until like Showdown, or at least probably until this podcast, to be honest. Like so, but he was blessed with this badass card. So
And he
good
got
for
the
him.
foil treatment. They thought he was going to be a stud. You know, that's
Dude.
awesome.
Right.
Next up, Armando Reynosa. The 6 mustache right here.
Yeah, he looks great.
So now this is a little bit less. So this is a 90 points less than Brian Anderson here, for the 4. So you gotta kind of weigh your options. Like, what are you into? I like a 4-1 through 16 out kind of guy. So this is the same thing we're talking about with the around what Benz was. This is roughly what you're looking at. Andy Benz is 350. Maybe you get more value out of this. Still pretty good ground ball range.
Yeah, he's not bad. I'm not sold. I think I would probably still go. It's tough. He is a little cheaper, but that 5 control I'd rather have. I'd just rather go up a tier.
You're talking about for Brian Anderson?
Oh, sorry. Between Brian Anderson and
because Andy
and
Benz is
Reynosa.
20 more points, and they're basically the same.
Right. The only difference is that same out range, but the 16 becomes a single on Anderson, whereas on Reynoso it's a walk.
Yeah,
That's
so it
really
just
and the
depends on
control
where-
goes down
Yeah.
for Reynoso.
It just depends on where you're trying to save value, what you think value is. I don't like to go lower than a 4 control unless I'm like trying to punt or play like a Greg Swindell type. Where I really want a lot of
Right.
outs. Just depends. Next up, Russ Springer. This actually guy gets a lot of play as well.
Good.
Yeah.
I love this
He's
So
guy.
this
great.
this guy's basically what? So we had Matt Manti at 150, or you could have this guy who has the same outs, but 2 more
Definitely this
control.
guy.
Yeah.
Like,
2 higher
Yeah,
control.
2 more control, so 2 tiers up. So this is a tier 2. Great pitcher. And a pretty good walk range here, so you only get the 19-20 single. For 150, I feel like he has to get drafted all the time. He got drafted in our league, right?
I drafted him.
There you go.
Here's now, rah, 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 like do a sad trombone sound if you have it. He got hit. So I talked about how in the last podcast how Trevor Hoffman on the Padres got fucking rocked and made no sense. Russ Springer also got fucking rocked. And I just don't like, I'm looking at the games and I'm just like, Russ Springer ended up being like the guy that I just tossed in. Like I played him in, oh my God, dude, I played him in 8 different games. And yeah, the first 3 games, 3 runs given up, and then 2 runs, 1 run, 0. Just like he just was a run machine, and I don't think it was even him. It was just like,
I need to have more sound clips on.
You
my
didn't have your
computer.
Astros dice?
no, I know my orange dice. No,
Your
you're
Astros
right.
dice?
No, yeah, it basically is my Astros dice. I don't
cheating
know if I
dice.
can use it now that you're saying that. It like makes me mad. Like, it's funny. I got to tell the story. So I have like a bunch of my, I have a bunch of like old, jerseys from T-ball and just little league and stuff when we were, when I was, probably into Showdown. I was like 6 and 7 and 8. And I still kept them. I still have them, and there's some really really cool ones like Marlins and Athletics. Like, and we're talking like late '90s logos.
Do you fit
right?
in them still?
No, I don't, but my wife does.
Oh,
so she
okay.
still wears them, which is great. But then I sort of got the other day. This was like Monday. I'm working at home. She walks in and she's wearing my Astros one. And there was some part of me that just got mad really quickly for no reason. And I was just like, oh, I didn't know I had an Astros one. And she was like, oh, what's the deal? I'm like, oh, they're like the huge cheaters. And she goes, oh, you're right. And I was just like, no, you can wear it. It's just like, go ahead, it's fine. Like, I had to like kind of like beat my ridiculous bias about how much I can't stand that team and realize that, the Astros back then, they were okay. There were some great players on those teams, some players I really liked a lot of people on those teams back then. I love it back well. So, it's okay. But anyway.
Yeah. Next up, we got Todd Stottlemyre.
Yeah, he got fucking paid on this team.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so also I meant to bring this up. So there were 4 All-Stars. So Jay Bell, Luis, Randy Johnson, and Matt Williams were the 4.
All the foils.
So all foils got,
Yeah.
which is that's how it should work. Except we haven't seen that. But Stoudemire, let me see if I can find him. He got paid $8 million a year on that team, and like comparative to like I think Randy, I'm trying to do a sort. Randy was 9.7, Matt Williams was 8.1,
Wow.
and then this guy was number. He must have been a big trade just because of him showing up. Him showing up like he only had like 17 games comparative to like the
They
rest.
just
So
have
like
a lot of these these random tier 4s that are what
Yeah.
320, 330, 340, and 350, and they're all
They
4,
loaded
1
up
through
on
15
them.
now. Yeah.
right.
What makes
They're
it
like-
for a very solid rotation.
Yeah, they're like, we just need guys to back up Dahl and Randy Johnson.
Yeah.
So
Right.
let's
Honestly,
just get a bunch of guys that can do the same thing.
And hopefully someone
Dude.
else listening can tell us what the 25 on their hat is for, because I do not know that as well.
it's this has got to be like this team. I know they're really good, so it's not like they're like a sleeper hit or anything. But man, just like picking up this team and playing with them, like looking at like some of the cards and how they differentiate to each other, and
How'd they
You
do
know,
in your
the
Showdown
infield-
Cup, Matt?
The one that I was just doing.
Didn't you do one where you had just the OOs and
Oh, like my tournament thing?
yeah.
They made it to the Final Four. They lost to the Yankees.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, I was
that
say because
makes sense.
so Matt, if anybody doesn't know, follow him on Twitter. He did like a Showdown Cup where he had like a bracket, like March Madness tournament of like the 2000 teams.
Still isn't finished.
You didn't finish it?
I'm at the finals. Me and George were gonna play because it's Indians and Yankees.
Oh, perfect. Oh, I love it.
I
So,
like it.
we'll stay tuned. But yeah, I remember the Diamondbacks obviously doing well. I didn't know how they ended up, and obviously looking at this team, you go, geez, they had to have done well. So that's good. What were the Final Four? So it was Indians, Yankees, Diamondbacks, and who?
Indians beat. Oh, I can't remember.
All right. Well, you can look that up while I'm
Yeah, I'll let
clicking
you know.
the next guy, which is the last guy. Oh my God, it's Tony Womack again.
He's back.
Yeah, he's back.
So I missed this when you get why? Like what
Well, now he's
happened?
a shortstop.
Because they realized Hanley Fries was a waste.
Yeah. So he, I
Honestly.
guess, changes positions, stays in the Diamondbacks. They update his card. Yeah, so he's still 7-speed A.
It's almost the same. I think it's the same exact chart. Not joking.
It
trying
is.
to-
I
it's the
was looking
exact-
at it the other day.
Is it the same points too, or no?
No,
I think he's 10 points more.
Okay.
dude. I'm
Lovely.
taking base set like with the left field, left field, right field
But
plus
to
2.
but to Matt's point, Did he just forget how to play left field, right field? Like,
Yeah.
he's still got to have some ability.
Right. So where did that go?
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Like, did they not truthfully say, like, I mean, how many players I'm trying to think did like have like shortstop +3, third base +2? Like, I know that there were times where they would do like first base, third base +0.
Yeah, they were the
but,
easy
like,
ones.
if the numbers ever change though, I don't think they did that in this set. Do you know what I'm saying?
What do you mean, like two positions?
Yeah, 2 positions, 2 different defensive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do that.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
So then you're right. Why the
There's no
fuck
reason.
did he not just okay?
There's
So
no reason.
they just said, you know what? This is the position he plays. Like, we're not even giving the flexibility here.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
like going into the next season, he was switching positions because they got.
That has
Somebody
to be
and
the
they're
reason.
like-
I mean, he probably stopped playing the outfield and became the shortstop. Like you said, they were like, Hanley, you're not
Yeah.
good at shortstop, and there's no reason for you to play anymore.
Or baseball.
Who was the other shortstop we just talked about too? There was another one, wasn't there?
Fox, Andy Fox.
Yeah, so they're both like, both you guys can't play. We need to get anybody that can do it. Hey, Womack, I know you were good in the outfield. Can you play shortstop?
Yeah.
I
I'm
just
trying to
like
see
he
if-
looks like super surprised in this picture too. Ah!
I'm trying
They
to
just
see.
told them.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see if there's another shortstop outfield guy.
So while Jeff's looking it up, Matt, did you see what who the Indians beat?
Yeah, so the Indians beat the Cardinals.
Okay, so we haven't
And
done the Cardinals yet.
upset the Mets.
Okay, well then that was interesting. Yeah, because the Mets are a good team. So
Yeah.
Denny Hawking on the Twins was a second base shortstop +2, outfield +1.
yeah, so
So,
it
fun
could
fact.
happen. Again, he probably completely switched positions, and that's why they did it. But I was
Right.
thinking, like, man, what a cool card that would have been to also maybe he goes left field, right field +1 or +0. Like he just like looks like they pennant run, made the same card, and then he just forgot to play outfield.
Right. Truthfully.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the positional flexibility. I feel like he's almost like Otani. Like you want his card back to back.
Yeah.
Which position you gonna play?
That's actually a really cool point. So everyone, again, I'm glad you guys are listening. That is the Arizona Diamondbacks. Let us know of any other teams you want to listen to or podcasts. I know there's been some requests for more, so we'll get those going as well. But yeah, this was theirs and ours. Any last words?
Purple for life. I don't know.
Exotic Randy.
Exotic Randy. Thank you guys all for listening, and stay tuned for the next one.